Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You got to click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday to take your TA questions. Guys, real quick before we get into it, I hope everyone's having a nice day. Before we get into it, I finished up recording today a Bitcoin video that would be in everyone's best interest to watch tomorrow. I intentionally didn't release, I've been trying to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday deal of releasing some TA videos. I intentionally waited for tomorrow because we have a monthly close tomorrow. So I don't just cover the monthly time frame, but I really do discuss why. These next handful of weeks are really critical moments for the crypto market in terms of, and I don't know if I really expanded upon this, but really my view is the reason it's such a critical moment is not because I think anything structurally is going to break. What's up, Evan? Not because I think anything's structurally going to break within the macro perspective for that Elliott wave that I've brought up a bazillion times on the channel. It's not that. It's if we do see some further downside in the next couple weeks, it's really just a timing thing. Is this really going to get dragged out longer than I and a few others were anticipating, or are we going to see an upside surprise? So we'll just really have to. I'm all in, balls to the wall, my friend. We're just going to have to, keep an eye on the charts. And, as bullish as I am, and I'm still a bull, I'm not a bear. Let me reiterate that. I am a bull. We got to be realistic, right? So I'm always going to tell you unequivocally what the charts are telling me. If something unexpectedly is happening that could lead to some short to intermediate price action to the downside and sideways consolidation, we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to give you hopium on this channel. That's not who I am, and that's not what this channel is about. Again, I stay grounded in logic and reality of life. In many ways, even outside of crypto, the realities of life. I'm a realist. I'm a positive person, but I'm also a realist. And we only talk about the facts and the charts on this channel, empirical data. That is what I do in my profession, and that is what I do on this channel. You can find me on Twitter, by the way, and I hope you do follow me on Twitter because I do a lot of content on there to keep you updated as well as YouTube, the Instagrams, and TradingView. Just had a really good lifting session today, by the way, before we get into the charts. Josh is on the treadmill right now. Nice work, my friend. Exercise and crypto are like my two favorite things in life. I had a great lifting session today. I hit a PR on good mornings. For those of you who know what good mornings are, I did 275 for 5 repetitions, and I got that shit on IG, so you can check that out. So I did 275 for 5. Pretty comfortably back squatted 380 for 5. Full depth. And also did lunges, 250 pounds for 5 reps on each leg. Had a solid lifting session today, one heavy. Your comment is cutting out here, Evan. So it looks like you swam for an hour on top of lifting for 2 hours. Man, you're a beast. That is impressive, my friend. You're like 2 years ahead. I don't know about that. Ned, recovering. Welcome in, Ned. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Recovering from an MCL sprain. Hopefully the crypto charts can cheer me up. I am sorry to hear that. You know what? Real quick, I want to offer you some... What's up, Track? Glad to see you, my friend. I want to offer you some quick words of encouragement. It's a really short moment in time, man. I've had small setbacks in life as well, physically. I know it's difficult, especially if you enjoy exercising and working out, but you got to keep perspective, right? So, I had this elbow thing going on, and I should reach out to my doctor and show him the videos from Instagram. I was literally deadlifting 400 pounds, 375 pounds within like a week of elbow surgery. Oh, maybe I am some sort of super freak, but I did have a herniated disc, a grade 1 herniated disc that did did humble me and require me to completely deload. I couldn't back squat or deadlift anything, and I still made those lifting sessions very competitive in nature, even if it was body weight exercises, and I gradually built back up. And as difficult as that period of time was, what I really had to do was realize this is a short moment in time if I'm smart about it. So just hang in there and stay positive and know it's a short period of time, my friend. By the way, yesterday's live stream, for those of you who had tuned in yesterday, I got cut off yesterday very abruptly because the power went out. So there was a hurricane going up the west coast of Florida. Hope everyone's safe that was impacted. Didn't really impact South Florida too much. There were some bands of thunderstorms that came through here. One last night, if you're watching the live stream, you saw things get pretty dark pretty quick. Power just shut off. So the point we were at on the live stream yesterday, I forget who it was. It might have been Evan. I feel like it wasn't Evan though. I think it was Greg. I think it was Black Oil. He had asked a question on Binance, BNB. So we're going to get back to that BNB chart. I did not forget. We'll get to BNB chart. Let's see here. Hernia surgery set me back 4 weeks. Ooh. Wow. That's challenging, but glad to hear that you made it through and you're in better shape at this point. 4 weeks this year. That's a long time. Most time I have ever, I'm not going to tell you how old I am. I'm actually older than I think the majority of you believe. But the most time I have taken off, I've been weight training consistently since the age of 14 and a half, June of some year. The most time I've ever taken off was like a week, 5 days a week. Literally. In more than 20 years, I'll keep it that. More than 20 years of consistently working out, hitting the weights. I've never taken more than 5 days to a week off. There was a hurricane that came through here one time and shut everything down, and I couldn't work out in the gym. But high rep, low weight. Yeah, man, you learn, and especially as you get older, you learn. Me going heavy like that, back squatting 380, doing that stuff. I don't do that very routinely. I exercise more deload weeks because I really do think for the long term, I want to give it everything I have while I'm at the age that I'm at. I'm at peak condition. I'm the strongest. I feel like I'm literally at the best conditioning that I've ever been in my entire life. I keep saying that with every year that passes, thankfully. And I want to make the most of that opportunity because I'm so passionate about weight training. And I know this moment in my life is short and fleeting, and so it's, I'm going to be older and older and older before I realize it. However, I also think long term, and I don't want to be the person that's in their 60s and is struggling to move around, right? It's tough because, I went home this past July. I was with my parents, and I see it with my mom. My mom has difficulties getting around, and she's not that old. She makes it sound like she's super old, but she's not. But she has difficulties getting around, and I don't want that to be me. I'd like to travel now while I'm in my whatever age I'm in, and I'd like to travel in my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, and I want to be able to get around well, And if I ever do have children, which that time seems like it is passing me by very quickly. I don't know that that's ever going to happen. I'd want to enjoy time with them as well. So all things that go through my head. But anyway, let's get to the charts. Enough talking about the gym and rehabbing from injuries, although I could go on for an entire hour talking about that. The reason you tuned in was to talk about the charts. So one more time real quick before we get into these charts right now, I wanted to share with everyone one last time real quick. There is a video I just finished recording that is set to drop midnight tonight, so for tomorrow. Very important, in my opinion, that you watch that video. It's going to cover charts we're not covering today. It's going to mainly talk about the monthly close. We'll get into a 2-month chart. We'll get into some Heikin-Ashi candles and a couple other charts. So make sure you tune into that. It really is a critical time. I explain why. These next several weeks are going to be indicative of price action that's going to tell us, hey, are we going to have some short, intermediate, corrective price action that's going to take a little bit longer than I was anticipating? Macro perspective, we're still fine. Or are we going to get out of here a lot quicker than what most people think? We're going to pop our head up above 32 in this next couple months or so. So we'll have we'll have to be patient and allow price data to emerge in the charts in these next few weeks to keep us informed in terms of what is most and least likely. All right. Now, I had tweeted out earlier today, this wasn't really that long ago, I want to see Bitcoin greater than or equal to 27,500 by today's daily close, else I'm more weary of yesterday's move being a non-event. Why do I say that, right? Sounds sort of bearish, right? I'm not bearish. I'm just being a realist that, you see a strong move like this come in, right? And it was a hell of a move. We got a lot of volume. We spiked all the way above the 200 SMA. We went as high as 28,142. That's awesome. Why am I saying 27.5 though? Ultimately, if today's, now I expected a pullback, but this candlestick, I want to see a longer wick here. And I want to see what that expresses. First off, when you see a longer wick, it expresses seller exhaustion. Now you might say to me, well, hey, CBG, isn't it fair to say we could accumulate here and have a bull flag, right? We could have some sort of a bull flag here, right? Pennant, pull, pennant, and then a move up. Absolutely. But why am I looking at today's price action? That is possible. But why am I looking at today's price action? I'm like, I'm not too crazy about what I'm seeing going on. I really want 27.5. It's all about the 200 SMA. If today's corrective action was bullish in nature, I would have suspected that the buyers would have stepped in here and at least bought this thing back up to the 200 SMA. Because in theory, if we are still in a bullish trend in the shorter to midterm, people would find a price that is below the 200 simple moving average on the daily as an extremely advantageous event and want to buy up this price, right? The fact that we're closing, it looks like we're going to close under the 200 SMA. I'm not saying we can't continue up and we're not going to have some strong impulses up and all this bearishness in the shorter to midterm here, intermediate term that I've been talking about won't be negated. But again, I go to the higher time frames to tell me what is more convincingly probabilistic, right? This daily time frame right now, again, to clear up some of this price action, we talked about the Gaussian channel a few times here, right? Trying to get above this 28.3 is going to be critical for this week. I hit on some of this stuff in the video that's going to drop tomorrow. But in order for that to happen, we need some of this bullish momentum on the lower time frames to pick up. I really want to see price today close at 27.5. And if it doesn't close at 27.5, what's going to happen is you're going to have a candlestick close open, below the 200 SMA. Not too bullish, right? Not to mention the fact that on the 12-hour, we don't want to start drifting too much lower down here. I really don't want to see prices come back down to this 26.3. What would happen if prices came all the way back down to this 26.3? Now, 26,300 was an area of price confluence we identified that eventually we broke below, and then we had problems getting above, and now we have burst back above. If we come all the way back down to 26,300 on the 12-hour, what's going to happen on the chart? If we roll all the way down here, this 50 is just going to want to continue moving down. I don't want to see that. And anytime we're below a moving average, it's going to act as resistance. I really don't want to see that. The other thing it could lend itself to, and this is something I definitely don't want to see, I don't want to see the 200 start to curl down. Now that is something more significant. You don't want the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour to start to curl down. That would make me a little bit nervous. I want this thing to stay relatively flat. So what we need to see, if we close relatively where we're at, let's say we close today 27,300, okay? We still get a nice long wick on the 12-hour candlestick. I need to see us punch back up above this 27,500. This is a major area of price confluence. I want to hold it as support. And you can see, based on the 200 SMA on the daily being 27,500, it also nicely coincides with the daily chart that's getting us above the 200 simple moving average. So if we don't close today at or above 27,500, I need to see it come in tomorrow, right? The other thing to keep in mind, I speak to the monthly chart tomorrow on tomorrow's video that's going to publish. Keep in mind, one of the things that I had spoken about on Monday, is I at least, when we look at a calendar, we spoke about Monday through Thursday, right? I at least wanted to see bullish price action come in from Monday through Thursday so we could get somewhat of a more bullish close. Not a bullish close because it doesn't look like it's going to be a bullish close, but we at least wanted to see that monthly candlestick, right? We wanted to see less of a red body, right? We want to skinny down that red body on the monthly. So even if we do, just forget about the fact about some of this weekly stuff we've been talking about. At least on the higher time frame, if Monday through Thursday here, we can get enough bullish price action so that the monthly looks decent, okay, that is a win. That is a win for the bulls, right? Now we can move forward in September and talk about on a weekly close and daily how everything's looking. But I will say, and there's no reason, it's all about probabilities, it is actually interesting, and this is not FUD. If you go on Twitter and you see this in my opinion is not FUD. It's empirical data just like anything else we look at. September historically has been a bearish month. So it'll be interesting to see if we can defy odds. I think the way the charts, I'll give you my educated guess at the moment. I think the most bullish, well, I think there's two bullish scenarios for September, the way it's kind of setting up in my opinion. I think there are two bullish things you could hope for September. And I'll tell you which one I think is more likely based on how the charts are printing at the moment. Although I'll feel a little bit more confident based on how the week closes. And I talk about that in the video tomorrow. I will feel more confident in making this statement at week's end. But at the moment, the way I'm leaning is if September is going to come in bullish for us, we're going to, let's just take a quick look at the monthly. Okay. So if we look at the monthly here, I think there are two bullish scenarios that could play out in September. One is, let's just say we close here at like 27,300. One is we just get a ginormous green candlestick, right, with very little downside volatility. I think that's bullish scenario number one. I think bullish scenario number two, and this is sort of where I'm leaning, this is where I'm leaning right now, and we'll feel more confident once the week closes out. Again, want to reiterate that once the week closes out. I think bullish scenario number two is we open here, we get that downside volatility. We come all the way down to some of these low levels, right, that I've spoken to. We wick all the way back up, and we get a green close. We print a green dragonfly doji. Where was that I had spoken to in the past? Here. We get something similar to this. You remember this candlestick that I had spoken about if you've been here for a while? God, this was March of 2020, so you would have had to have been with me for a long period of time. I don't know if I covered it in a YouTube video, but I for sure covered it on Twitter. I can tell you that much because this stuck out to me. This is a dragonfly doji. This is a clear sign of a trend reversal. And again, even I'm not an expert when it comes to naming different candlesticks. That's not important. The important thing is you're able to read the candlesticks and interpret what they mean. And in this case, what this candlestick means is we opened here, right, at about 8,400. We went all the way down here. Look at this huge wick. Seller exhaustion. It got eaten up, all right? It zoomed all the way back up, and we closed above where we opened at about 8,700, right? $300 higher where we opened. This is the clear sign of a trend reversal to the upside, more than likely. Not definitively, but more than likely. Just like here, we had a bearish engulfing candle, which told us more than likely we'd see continued downside and chippy-choppy consolidation. Didn't happen, right? We just got this huge bullish engulfing candle. So it's not definitive. Nothing is definitive in charting, but it gives us a leading indicator that we could see continued trend movement up. That's exactly what we got. So I think bullish scenario number two, which is sort of where I am leaning at the moment, if we're going to have a bullish month for September, great, we get our downside volatility, all right? Freaks a bunch of people out. Not if you're subscribed to my channel, because you're going to stay level-headed and unemotional, and you're just going to read the charts for what they are. And we close all the way at or above where we open. That would create a dragonfly doji, which would strongly signal to us. This is on a 2-month, but keep in mind I'm talking about the monthly. This would strongly signal to us a trend movement to the upside. We could also, I mean, who knows? Maybe this will print into a dragonfly doji for a 2-month chart, similar to back here. But regardless, I think that's what I'm looking for to remain super bullish going into the end of this year. But I think regardless, man, the September is going to be such a critical month. Again, we have these warning signs I've been talking about. And I hit on this in the video. But depending what we do with price action this week, we have the potential to invalidate some of this bearish price action we've been looking at on these weekly charts here. But you can see I was getting a little crazy on the video. So this week is important. September is important. Like, it really is a critical moment. So make sure you catch that video. Okay, that's all I wanted to cover with Bitcoin. I'm going to get into your questions. I want to take your TA questions at this point. We're 20 minutes in. I don't want to go super long today. I have a lot going on tomorrow. I have to get up super, super early tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. So I have a lot of things going on tomorrow, so I'm not going to make this live stream long. Now, the first chart I want to get to real quick, I want to get to Binance, okay? Because there was a question on this yesterday. I think this was from Black Oil, and my power went out, so I wasn't able to address it. Now, I have not looked at the Binance chart in a very long time. You can see right now, I mean, the last time we looked at it, we were holding this area as support. We spoke about this. Now, interestingly enough, people will tell you TA doesn't work, right? We bounce, we bounce, we bounce. Once we broke, look what happened. We came up here and got rejected at this line. Once you break support, it acts as resistance. Tell me TA doesn't work. This is at $234. So what we're going to do is flip 234 to red for resistance. Earthwalker, welcome in. Are you new to the live stream? I haven't seen you before, my friend. We'll take a look at it. So you can see my areas of price confluence here. Black Oil, I'm pretty sure you asked this question. Hopefully you're catching in syndication if you're not live. But let's talk about other areas that I'd want to see hold. Damn, this auto scale. Right there. All right. So other areas, if that area doesn't hold, I mean, you can see this is really a zone. Remember, we don't get too cute on this channel, right? We like nice round figures. You can see that area right there. You see the hit here, the hit here. We hit perfectly on there. 205. I don't want to see $200. $200, first off, what you have to understand, if you've been here, you know I'm about to say this probably. What you have to understand about $200, it's a psychological level. $100, psychological level. $10, psychological. $1, everyone talks about certain projects going to $1, right? Because $1 is a psychological level. So 200 is psychological. If we break 200, all eyes on the bottom formed in June. Okay? All eyes formed on the bottom in June at 183. You do not want to break 183 because if you break 183, now what you're opening up the door to is white space to the downside. Right? And if you actually look at the chart, not a lot of price confluence in here until about $135. So, and this isn't, look, I'm not saying this to scare anyone. I'm just telling you what's in the charts. I'm not telling you prices are going to come down to 183 and break it. But I'm saying if it breaks 183, it's not a certainty, but there's certainly a risk we could come all the way down to $136. So, if we look for more areas of price confluence, actually, is there any? See, that's the one thing what you have to understand, and I've spoken about this before, this basic premise. When you have this sort of price action, it's awesome in the moment. This is called a parabolic price action. The unfortunate thing about a parabolic price action like this, it doesn't build stair steps, right? When you have stair steps and you fall, you can bounce. You fall, you can bounce. You fall, you can bounce. When you have this, and you're falling, you have nothing to grab onto and you just fall, okay? So because of that parabolic price action, that's why I'm saying you really don't want to break $183, because if you break 183, you're running into a really high risk scenario that you could bleed all the way out until roughly $136. Okay, so we want to see 183 ultimately hold, but 200. If I'm looking at this chart, 200 psychologically, I want to see that level hold. We still got the higher lows coming in here. You can see the higher lows for Binance coming in here, right? We broke this downward resistance. Besides that, it's just been chip chop, waiting to break $400. Once we break $400, it's going to be interesting to see come back to the chart and take a look at it. Let's see what else we got here. Appreciate everyone new tuning in. I also appreciate the engagement. I can see everyone's hitting the thumbs up, which I really appreciate as a content creator. It really helps me out a lot. Still got my Casper shirt, everybody. Casper, the friendly ghost dag. Yes, Evan, we still have a few days left, so we just have to be patient. Yeah, I mean, look, man, you know, ideally for the weekly close, I want 28,300 because of the Gaussian channel. But I certainly don't want to see some sort of huge wick on the weekly. I will say if this body comes all the way down here and we close the week out at like 26.5 or 26.7, that would not make me feel good, because what would this candlestick look like? You'd have this huge wick coming all the way down here, and you'd have this thin little green body. That would not be good. We definitely would love to see on the weekly at least closing above the 200 SMA. 27,600 is a minimum target. Let me say this. For me, for the week, 27,600 is the minimum target. 28,300 because the Gaussian channel is really what I want to see. Again, the more time we hang out in this Gaussian channel, keep in mind what I said. Maybe this time is different because the Gaussian just turned green. I talk all about it in the video, but I don't want to hang out in this Gaussian channel. I know you look at the chart, historically, it's not a good sign if we're hanging out there. Again, I'm not interjecting FUD. I'm interjecting unbiased, logical view of the charts and just telling you what I see. Evan, why do you always disclose your positions? I cannot compute. I cannot comprehend. If XRP hits $4, I'm chilling. I think $4 is realistic for XRP. Someone that is actually providing a realistic XRP target. Thank you, Evan. God. Look for my Moon Boys Are Killing XRP video. I think that's going to drop on Friday. I have to get the TA done. Oh, thank you, Earthwalker. So, yeah, you can catch it in syndication. I appreciate your question. I'm just trying to get through the comments, and I will get to your TA question. 12,000 ETH before the end of the year. That's a bold call, my friend. You are... So I will say this, and I already hit on this. As you know, I have had two hypotheses. One is blow off top in Bitcoin this year, blow off top in Bitcoin around the halving, going into the halving, right? I am much more heavily leaning towards going into the halving. If you gave me a probability, which means same with ETH, I think it's a much less likely scenario ETH is that high, Evan, this year. If I had to break down a probability right now for a blow off top, and you said, hey, CBG, you were saying blow off top, that was your primary hypothesis, and then you switched to two. Yeah, I know, I realize that. If I had to give a weighting, I would say I am 75% in the camp of next year going into the halving. 25% this year, something crazy happens, and the next 4 months are just freaking ballistic. We'll see, though. I would welcome either, to be honest. And actually, and I've spoken to this before, if you said to me, which would you prefer? Would you prefer a Bitcoin blow off top next year, going into the halving around there? Or this year? What do you think I'm going to say? I've said this before. Why? Why would I say next year? Because we have a longer roadway. We have more consolidation, which should, in theory, provide more ample opportunity for higher prices, a higher parabola. So I would actually welcome Bitcoin having a blow-off top in March, April, May of next year. I would very much welcome that over, November, December of this year. Oh, you're into Casper? Nice. Yeah, you need to, never financial advice on this channel. I repeat that over and over again. But I would strongly encourage you not just to watch my TA videos on Casper. do some due diligence on the project itself. I'm still going to get out a video that's a little bit different in nature, talk about some of the fundamentals and why I was so excited once I did my research. Couple things I would hit on there real quick. One, reading about the project seemed very reminiscent of Bitcoin to me. That's the first thing I would say. And the second thing is, from a technological innovation standpoint, it's the first project I've been very excited about since Hedera Hashgraph. So I've said all these things on record. So yes, very excited about that project. I've seen the Wyckoff breakout backtest theory. I'm not a Wyckoff pattern expert, so I've seen the pattern drawn. I'm familiar with it. I'm somewhat. I shouldn't say I'm somewhat familiar with it. I'm familiar with it. I'm just not an expert on it, so I can't give you an opinion. I would be being disingenuous if I started speaking about Wyckoff distribution and accumulation, because I'm not an expert on it. So. And you know I am genuine on this channel, so I'm only going to speak to the things that I'm more knowledgeable of. But I've seen that. Hedera Hashgraph, Earthwalker. Glad to see it. All right, let's get into the question at hand that Earthwalker has requested, and he is able to show up for the live stream today, which is awesome. So, blank. Just like I'm drawing a blank. Tau. Last time we talked about Tau. I still feel like I knew someone with the name of Tau. I feel like I've charted this one out before. No, I know I've charted this out. I'm just looking for the chart that we've done before because I feel pretty confident we've... Yeah, it's Energy Web Token. I know people have been pointing me to this project for some time. Okay, apparently I haven't charted this one out, but I know that we've spoken about it. All right, let's get into the price action here. Let's focus on the price action. This is a 3-day... Let's go to a weekly. There's enough price data here. This thing looks like it's been around since 2020. Great timing if that's the case, because it got in right ahead of the bull run there. Okay, first thing that sticks out to me, without question, downtrend. Which looks like we sort of... Nah, I would draw like that, because... Maybe I'd be a little more aggressive and draw like that, more candlesticks, candle touches. So we have a general downtrend here. I don't think I need to show you. You can kind of see what's going on there. Now, the one thing that is encouraging that's going on with the chart, see how we were forming these lower lows? Well, we sort of flattened out here. We essentially had a double bottom here, right? So we flattened out. We still have this upward descending resistance that we have to battle through. This thing has the potential to be in the midst of a trend reversal to the upside. It's at least building that structure. It's building the structure because we flattened out with these double bottoms here. We've had a double top up here as well. So it's basically, if I had to interpret to you what is going on in the chart, it's attempting to find its bearings. It's attempting to sort of get rid of the volatility from the past. It's trying to start anew, learn from the past. And boy, that rings home true. Learn from your mistakes in life. Sometimes you don't see them when you're in the middle of it. Anyway, I don't want to digress on my personal life. I sort of want to. If I had to communicate to you in layman's terms what's going on here is that volatility, it wants it to be a thing of the past, and it's starting to flatten out here, okay? Flatten out. It's not going lower. We're not getting the lower lows, right? So I really like to see that the base is coming in here right around this level. Okay, we're not going to draw too many lines here. This is 220, okay? 220. So I like to see that. You see how we have this double bottom? See how we're bouncing off this range here? Okay? I love to see that 220 is holding. Hold that 220 line. I'm not saying it can't go to 218. You see, I'm not getting too cute with price. Let's hold 220. Now, once we start to see some price action to the upside. By the way, if we break 220, now we're severely, and you see it going down to, 205, $2. Now we're in no man's land. I mean, there's no lows below there, so you don't want to see that. Now, on the way up, when you see price moving up, I think you can, guys, if you've been here for a while, I think you can see the areas of price confluence, right? You've got to pick these things out by now, hopefully. I want you to learn something on this channel. There's a major area right here. You can see that the touches. It's at 3. I mean, how non-coincidental is that? It's at $3. Remember, psychological levels. Psychological manipulation. It's a lot like bro science. I'm not going to go into that. How can you get your girl to lift? Psychological manipulation. It's a lot like doing, watch the video. $3, psychological level. Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about right now. If you know bro science, drop me a comment if you know Dom Mazzetti. I'll get to your comments in a moment here. $3 is a psychological level. Once we break $3, it looks like there's another level. Right around 334, 330. Another level right around 470. And then absolutely another area right there. You can see right around that 513 mark. And we have the descending resistance. So these are all the areas that you're going to run into. Heavy resistance in this area. This area here around like 270, 280 all the way up to 335. That's going to be a tough area. And then we got areas all the way up here. Let's get to the price indicators. MACD's not doing too bad. Let's see how the week closes. Would love to see this thing stay positive, the blue above the orange. We need to get above the 0 trigger line, though. Stochastic RSI is fading down. It's under 20. I don't like to see that. Momentum's really taking a slide down. We want to see the thing flatten out. We want to see this flatten out and curl above 20. So that's what I got on Energy Web Token. I hope that you found that helpful, Earthwalker. We'll see, Evan. We'll see. I wish, based on what you're pointing out, and I appreciate it, I wish I was more familiar with Wyckoff distribution and accumulation. Again, I'm familiar with the pattern. It's just I haven't charted it enough for me to get up here with confidence and start whipping up charts and talking about Wyckoff accumulations and distributions and backtesting. Not as familiar. There's a learning opportunity for me to get more comfortable with. You're welcome. You're welcome, my friend. We'll see, Evan, about the bear case. Kathleen, you are asking the last question of the day. This is going to be it. And then we're going to sign off. And I will be back tomorrow. What's going to be a very long day for me tomorrow. Not really that long of a day. I shouldn't be so dramatic here. It's not going to be that long of a day, but it's going to be a long day. See a coin. Sure, we can take a look at that. For those of you who are not familiar, Kathleen is the enforcer on the channel. For anyone who does not hit the thumbs up, she will hunt you down, and she will find you, and she will make you hit the thumbs up. So I'm just throwing it out there right now. It would be in your best interest to hit the thumbs up button, because I wouldn't want to fuck around with her, quite frankly. Now, YouTube says I can throw out vulgar every now and then as long as it's not excessive. Thank you, Evan. YouTube says I can throw out vulgar every now and then, and they're not going to demonetize me, so we might put that to the test sometimes. Kathleen, not a lot of price data here. What is this project? I don't know what this is. Should I know what this is? I don't know what this is. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here that's helpful. Well, oh, excuse me. Oh, my God. Let's get back to the charts. Oh, I still got to get that Bitcoin video out. What's everybody having for dinner this evening? I'm having some mahi-mahi. Some mahi-mahi and some steamed broccoli. Sounds exciting. Actually, it's going to be a very tasty meal, to be honest. Kathleen, there's not a lot of price data here. I'm not really sure that what I could tell you that's going to be so helpful, you know? One thing, just kind of looking at the daily chart, we got a lot of volume. Now, I do like to see this. A lot of volume. This is an extremely bullish candlestick. This engulfed 1, 2, 3 and almost 4 candlesticks here. Now, this price wick, a lot of sell-off here, not surprisingly, because we had such a strong move. We're also seeing a lot of volume come in. Volume precedes price, so it's good to see that. But the wick, what that's telling me, there's going to be a huge area of resistance right around there at... which makes sense because look where we touched. Kathleen, check this out. See how we touched here? We just touched here. My best guess, this thing's going to continue to drift back down. Just don't take out these lows. Hold yourself above like 11.9 cents. Let's stay above 12 cents. Okay, stay above 12. We're probably going to drift lower here and then come back up and battle 17 cents and then see if we can continue going higher. Looks like we could be forming some sort of a like V-shaped recovery possibly, but we'll have to see. This wick, though, on today's price action tells me, the seller exhaustion tells me we're going to have a hard time getting through 17.2 cents. So something to keep an eye on. Yeah, not a lot of price data here, Kathleen. Yeah, it's going to be a bit till we get above 17.2 in my opinion. One more thing before we hop off this chart. Let's try to identify some other areas of... There's just not a lot of price data. This is... You don't see me struggle much on this channel trying to find stuff, but... I like that area right there. About 14.6. I would not be a buyer there personally, though. I never offer financial advice, but I wouldn't be buying there. I would be patient. And I would wait for a level closer to, like... here. This zone right here is where I would be waiting. Right between 13 and 12.7 cents. Now, what would be bullish is if we came all the way down here, consolidated, formed a higher low relative to here, and then battled the 17.2 and broke it with a candle body close. That's what I would be looking for, Kathleen. It's a new coin. Maybe whenever the hell I find the time, I'll look into it. I appreciate you bringing it up. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, I appreciate the support. Look for my Bitcoin video to drop tomorrow. Very important video to check out. I will be back tomorrow. I will be back on Friday as well. Definitely a different time on Friday because I have some plans in the evening. So I definitively will not be here Friday evening. So I will try to get out a little earlier. But I appreciate everyone new tuning in. I hope everyone has a nice evening. Share the video with at least one person. You go on Discord, you go on Twitter, share the live stream. I think people would appreciate it if you appreciate it. I appreciate you, you appreciate me. It's a win-win, hey. All right, I'm getting a little loopy. It's been a long day. That leg workout kicked my ass, and I need to eat some food. So until next time, everybody, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care of yourselves.